It's your boy, Jim CB. Welcome back to the channel. You can like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, man, and we are back with another clip, another video, and some things to get into with our thoughts, man. Stay tuned for the commentary, and I'll be with you shortly.
That's Hutchins' manager who was there when the situation happened. He actually got shot himself. But we're talking about the similarities to the King Von situation and the Tupac situation, meaning that King Von saw someone that he had a beef with. He decided to take it upon himself to run at the.
Now I have one question. I'm just curious. Why does Vlad ask Keefe D questions about the similarities between King Von and Tupac's death? Allegedly, and out of Keefe D's own mouth, he was there in the car when Tupac was shot in Vegas in 1996. So I just want to know, why would you ask someone like that a question about a person that they had some type of involvement with taking their lives? And I just don't understand Vlad's line of questioning at times. But let's just continue. See what happens.
They start punching him.
Yeah.
And, Quando Rondo's little man, little Tim pulled out a gun and killed him. Yeah. Which set off a shootout with the police, and, a couple people died, I believe, and other people got hit and everything else like that. But we were just talking about how unnecessary the whole situation was. When the second tape came out and you saw the fight and everything else like that, a lot of people compare the situation to how Tupac died. You have a guy who ran up on someone who he had an issue with, start punching him, and shortly afterwards, he ends up getting killed. So they did it.
It's not the same situation. There's really not many similarities, except for the fact that a fight ensued. A fight broke out. No matter which way you slice that, and after the fact, shots were fired. Now, in the Tupac situation, he inserted himself into a gang beef, whether knowingly or unknowingly, that doesn't matter. But he landed the first punch on Orlando Anderson, which got Orlando Anderson stomped out by the Death Row and MOB entourage. Now, hours later, 30 minutes later, however long after the fact, Tupac was shot while riding alongside Suge in their vehicle. And in the King Von's case, King Von had an issue with Quando Rondo, and NBA YoungBoy, of course we all know the story. He promised to put his hands on Quando Rondo, and that's what he went to do. That's what he did. As soon as he saw him, quote unquote, the word is on site. And in the situation, like the minute the brawl, it wasn't even a brawl, it was a fight between two gentlemen. And it wasn't a fight because King Von just started swinging on this man, and he really had no defense. He couldn't fight back. He was a different. I don't think Quando Rondo was really a fighter. And King Von didn't care. He wanted to prove his point. And in the middle of that fight, not hours later, not minutes later, Lil Tim grabbed the pistol from the car, went around the other side, and proceeded to shoot King Von. Now, as he shot King Von, a shootout broke out in the middle of that between the police, the entourages, and everything like that, and it just was it was a bunch of unnecessary loss. There's really no difference other than the fight, the fight part, the fight leading to something else. Tupac didn't directly have an issue with those gentlemen. King Von directly had an issue with this gentleman, and him deciding to put his hands on that man cost him his life. In both cases, putting your hands on the wrong person. Well, in Tupac's case, put his hands on the wrong person. That cost him his life because those guys were about that type of business. And with King Von, who knew if he known the situation would get out of hand like that? But at the end of the day, these gentlemen, and King Von, these gentlemen are both gone, and King Von was alleged to be a shooter, a killer. A lot of people want to call him a serial killer. I've seen bits and pieces of this YouTube doc. I don't call gang members and drug dealers who are killing and shooting for survival. I don't necessarily call them serial killers. I would call them just shooters by way of situation, killers by way of situation. Serial killers, they have patterns and things like that. They got it's a lot of differences between that and just a regular person just killing. If you're on one side and they're on the opposite side, the opposing side, killers are gonna kill for survival. Gang wars, wars between countries, police wars, between civilians. Sometimes you get lost in what you're fighting for and what everything means, and you end up just falling down a dark path. Okay, that's my enemy, so I gotta kill my enemy, because if I don't kill them, they're gonna kill me. That's the mentality. So I wouldn't necessarily call that man a serial killer, but that was me getting off topic. But Tupac wasn't a shooter like that. He wasn't that guy, you know. He wasn't going around killing a bunch of people. He wasn't in a gang. He wasn't brought up like that, born in a gang. King Von is more like Orlando Anderson than King Von is like Tupac, if that makes sense. But at the end of the day, violence just leads to more violence. So a fight can always escalate to a knife fight. A knife fight can always escalate to a gunfight, because violence is always escalated. And even having a violent tone in your voice or aggressive tone can lead to a violent situation. And that violent situation can lead to you losing your life. So that's pretty much the point here, man. It was a no-win for everybody in this situation. I don't understand why he's asking Keefe D these questions about similarities, because it just opens up old wounds, man. Tupac has been gone for over 25 years at this point. Man, it's no point, man. Leave the past in the past. Tupac is gone. King Von is gone. Orlando Anderson is gone. Rondo and crew are relatively quiet at this point. Everybody lost in this situation. That's the main similarity. I don't get why he would ask this question to Keefe D. I think it's quite disrespectful. And what if Keefe D makes a snark comment or remark, or he takes the sarcastic approach to this situation? A lot of Tupac fans, family members, and people of his estate, some of the outlaws, that this can be very upsetting. It rehashes old wounds, I just don't understand it. Let's continue with what Vlad has to say.
It's fair. It's kind of crazy, man. Like, it's the same. Just content, storytelling, creative wise. That Yvonne, it just not ran up on him, saying that he'd be living a great life right now, saying he'd be a superstar rapper, buying millions of dollars, he had kids that were on the way, and then everything else like that. And the founding fathers of Death Row, we'd be paying me, Ariel, my continent, sure, we'd still be rolling.
If he wouldn't, if Shield would have started game banging with that, and I'm saying, rah fatality, he should have just belly gauged her. You know what I'm saying? Like we was cool, laid back. We wasn't in control ever, never looked in control.
Right, because I think you had even mentioned that Orlando wanted like the one-on-one talk. They didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
Could he actually find him though, with his shoulder fucked up and all that?
Laying of the hands, bro. Nothing. Yeah, I hope everybody to donate.
Yeah.
Have more ground hands. Like that easy.
So apparently, Orlando Anderson had hands. And again, I don't see the complete similarities. I see some of them, but asking Keefe D about it, I don't think it was a good idea. Just for content. And like right now, I'm looking at it, 67K views. I mean, just don't get it, man. Stop rehashing old ones. It's not worth it. Then this also brings up the sadness and the tragedy for King Von supporters, family members, and fans, friends. Leave that stuff alone, man. Let them brothers rest in peace. They gone now. Ain't nothing we could do about it. The woulda, coulda, shouldas. Chalk this up to the game. We can learn from this. It's a lesson for all of us. Just try to figure things out in a better way. Conversations sometimes need to be had behind the scenes. They could have worked out a deal for whatever chain was stolen or snatched. I mean, look at the Bloods and Crips now. In this day and age, coexisting in a lot of ways, man. Just don't make no sense. Like, without the bloodshed, anything could be worked out. Even with the King Von and Quando Rondo situation, man. Apparently this beef was handed from Vaughn and Young Boy down to Vaughn and Quando Rondo. I mean, I don't know, but man, the internet, bro. Beefing over the internet caused a lot. Being loyal to causes that necessarily might not align with your actual views and your the way that you move. Tupac was loyal to who he was loyal to. I wouldn't have got involved in that personally. You can kind of understand why Dre and Snoop left, and a lot of people started to leave Death Row because those toxic environments could cost you your life, man. So I don't know. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to the world. Do unto others as you want done to you. And pieces, blessings, love, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. This is Gems TV, and we are out.